Hey, what's up, everybody? So, just want to cover what happened to me probably about half an hour ago. So, what ended up happening was I had a Grubhub pickup at Jimmy John's, and I accepted the order and I really didn't look at it at first, but Jimmy John's is, it was in my, it was close by. So I said, let me go ahead and go by Jimmy John's and pick up this order. So anyway, when I got to the Jimmy John's, the Jimmy John's was closed, and I was about to call the customer, and then I said, "Well, wait a minute. Let me." I saw an employee still in Jimmy John's, and I called and said, "Hey, you know, do you got an order for this customer?" And they said, "Yeah." So they said basically they're closing up shop, and they said basically they would bring the order around to me. So sure enough, the guy came around in his car and handed me the order, and I said, "Good looking out, thank you." And then I went to an apartment complex to deliver the order. Well, I contacted the customer. I called and I don't normally do this, but I called the customer because I wanted to be sure that I was at the right door. And I set the bag down. Then I walked off, which is important. So I left the order there, but then I got a call from the customer saying that he was missing items from his order. And I knew that I had everything, and he started to berate me and say all this stuff, you've been doing this, blah, blah, blah. And, really getting confrontational with me. And here's the thing, folks. I want everyone to really think about this, but these food delivery jobs are not worth you losing your job. They're not worth you getting locked up in jail. They're not worth the confrontation. Okay. And also, when you are getting confrontational, sometimes you've got to realize that in your confrontational state, that sometimes you're giving people leverage that you were unaware of. So, the guy asked me for my name and all this different stuff, and I didn't say my full name. I actually said my last name, but I think with enough research, they can look up, all my information. The way the internet is the way, people can find people and harass them if they want to. But anyway, so I contacted customer support and I asked them, did they see any more items on the actual receipt from Grubhub, and they did not. So what I believe is the customer scamming. And what the customers will do is they'll have you returning back to the restaurant, kind of being, you may not be irate, but you might go back to the restaurant and say, "Hey, you guys forgot my sandwich." And then the restaurant will make up another sandwich. Grubhub, DoorDash, all this stuff, you guys need to really get together about this, because this goes on beyond just the drivers. These companies are getting scammed along with the driver. So, but like I said, people, be very leery with getting confrontational with customers. And also, too, is that I do not like, and I hope maybe someone makes a lawsuit, but I do not like the fact that sometimes you have these customers calling you back on your personal number. I do not want to be harassed. I do not want to be contacted after a delivery has been completed. And you see this page here where, I could have, at that moment when the guy was getting irate with me, could I report him for harassment? I feel like these scammers, they'll probably create other accounts, but they should be removed from the platform. And also, I share this story because I don't want other drivers out there getting taken advantage of, because, it's just terrible, but that was my experience tonight. And like I said, be very careful, because I want you guys to listen to like old people that get scammed, and old people try to, be confrontational and like, "Oh, I know, you're not going to get over on me." But sometimes, like I said, when you're allowing yourself to communicate with these people for too long, they're actually bleeding you of information. Peace out.